Welcome to my hobby update where I talk about what I worked on this past week. This will be the first of hopefully many videos where I just go off cuff, no scripts, talking about whatever I was working on in my hobby life this past week. You may be thinking this is just the same thing Eons of Battle does, and you'd be right. Nevertheless, here's what I've been working on. I finished not one, but two gorkanauts. I can smell the matte varnish. My big red orky boys. I have a lot of fun with decals on big mechs like this, and that's where a majority of the time went. Could still put on grass tufts for sure. Oh, also the weathering. Oof. The whole black patches on the armor, then putting silver on it. I wanted to make a dedicated video for these in October, you know, for Orktober, but obviously didn't get around to that because the Halloween video took up so much time. Now, just last night, I was fixing the varnish on these. This one was a bit more simple. This one is kind of being a pain in the ass. I'm using a matte varnish on it, and in some areas I'm getting frosting. I'm not sure exactly what causes frosting, but what it looks like is when your varnish just dries so matte it looks white in some areas. I fixed it for the most part, putting on a satin varnish and then putting on a matte varnish on top of it again. But in some areas the frosting just came back once I put on the matte varnish. In one spot in particular on the shoulder pad, it looks so bad I might just have to paint over it and like do some weathering on top of it. But for the most part, I'm very happy with how both of these turned out. I can talk more about them in an Orc Army showcase at some point in the future. And then the other thing, something else I've been working on is this Space Marine. What makes this one so special? Well, it's my Deathwatch character for a 40k campaign that a friend of mine is hosting. I chose the Assault class, so he's got a jump pack and everything. And the mother chapter of my Marine is going to be technically Salamanders, but it's going to be my homebrew Dune Atreides chapter. Yes, I made my own kill team of Atreides Space Marines. I can talk about them in the future. And this guy will be a descendant of them. Pretty happy with how he turned out. Now we just gotta paint him. And next I have a Reaper Bones mini. Not just any mini though, a whole ass dragon. I looked up its name, but I forgot. Wait, I still have the original package. Hold on. So funny story about this one. This was on the for sale table at my local friendly gaming store. And they put it on the sale table because it had been around for so long that the box was just completely falling apart. And I actually still have it here. You can see the plastic is yellowed. Before I cut this open, like here, it was just completely falling apart. Even this part here where it's supposed to hang, it had clearly been like torn off multiple times. They taped it over. I saw this poor thing on the for sale table and I just thought, it's okay, little one, I'll give you a home. Oh yeah, so it had also been there so long, the name tag had faded from like sun damage or something. This one is the Velocithrax. What is that? I don't know. Couldn't just call it big long dragon. My intent with this, I want to make it a classic like high fantasy dragon, you know, something you'd see in Dragon's Lair or like an old Nintendo Power magazine, like bright colors, goblin green base. I might go with painting it like the big red dragon from the Bone comics. You guys remember that? I also want to go with that whole high fantasy theme because I don't really have much fantasy, well, anything. I should rephrase. I have some Stormcast and some other like WizKid minis and some Death Rattle skeletons and some those like ghosty scythe boys. I forget their name currently. So actually, yeah, I do have a good amount of fantasy stuff. But this will be the flagship fantasy model that I have. Reaper Bones minis are made with a weird kind of rubbery plastic too. Like these wings are fully bendable, but you know, not so much where they'll break. At least as long as they don't break. This is kind of reminded me of the PVC plastic that the Ravaged Star minis are made of, which is great because that means I can run over this with my car and it won't get destroyed. This is definitely getting its own video. I've already shot some of its own footage. Yeah, that'll be out at some point. Maybe. Nah, it definitely will. I just gotta get to it. But yeah, that's all for now. Some hobby projects that I was partaking in this past week. I want to make these in between each of the big releases because lately I've only put out like 3 videos this whole year, and I want to be more consistent. Even when I haven't been working on something new, I still have plenty of other hobby projects, past models, you know, and stuff in the collection that I can just talk about for hours, for way too long. This channel is essentially going to be Kenny's primetime nerd hour. So yeah, hopefully see you guys next week, and thanks for watching.